Are you ready to nail party? I sponsored Season 6, Week 4, which is February, the month of love. So my theme was your favorite love story. And these 9 contestants did the most beautiful, amazing art. You're going to love watching these videos. I know I did. I watched them over and over and over. They were so amazing. And they're not only beautiful, but they're educational. All the different techniques that they do, you're going to be able to use these techniques in your salon with your own art. The 3 top winners were Bojana, Nixie, and Carly. Congratulations! In first place was Bojana with Lady and the Tramp. And Bojana, I love the beauty of your art and your attention to detail. Congratulations! In second place was Nixie with Paper Dolls. Nixie, I love your creativity. Congratulations! And in third place is Carly with the wedding portrait. Carly, I love your grandparents' 65-year marriage. It is so heartwarming and so inspiring. Congratulations. I hope everyone watching these beautiful videos will be inspired. And comment below. I would love to hear which one was your favorite love story.
Hello everyone, this is our 4th challenge sponsored by Tammy Taylor. We were asked to illustrate our favorite couple's love story. I decided to make a story from my country's culture, the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. With a mix of these colors, create skin tones to paint the couple. Orpheus was a talented musician. He is in love with Eurydice. At some time, Eurydice died. He loved her so much, so he decided to descend to Hades to take her back. Outline the face and before curing, use the flat oval brush for shading. Cure and then do the same for highlighting. Add more shadows and details. This liner brush is perfect for detail painting. Shading is the key to achieve realistic effects. Mixing those colors, you can make warm brown color for the hair. Again, lots and lots of shading and highlighting. Using different shades of the base color, some lighter and some darker, you can make hair look realistic. Just remember to cure before you shade with different tone. Orpheus played his lyre, melting even Hades' heart. He told Orpheus that he could take Eurydice as a normal woman again by his side, but under one condition. Eurydice would follow him while walking out to the light from the underworld, but he should not look or talk to her before coming out, or else he would lose her forever. On their way out, he could not hear Eurydice's footsteps, so he thought that gods had fooled him. Only a few feet away from the exit, Orpheus lost his faith and turned to see Eurydice behind him, but her shadow was whisked back among the dead. Mix those colors to create a sunset effect. Tammy Taylor's gel polishes are perfectly pigmented and you can easily achieve ombre effect. Well, if you change your mind about color, you can fix it. Follow the same process for shading the clothes. Draw details. For Orpheus' lyre, use sculpting acrylic gel. Paint it gold. Use white thread to make the strings. Cut the excess, and here's the lyre. Roses symbolize love between Orpheus and Eurydice. Use red velvet and iced coffee to paint the petals. Use the darker color to the base of the petals. To a piece of metal wire, add a small bead of clear acrylic gel. Paint it red. Using top coat, attach the petals, curing between every petal. Use holly berry pigment to give the roses some shine. Using the detail brush, draw some music notes coming from his lyre. The boat is a picture of Orpheus' journey to underworld. Add some details. And here's the final set. I hope you like it, and don't forget to vote. Thanks for watching.
Hey you guys! I hope you enjoyed my locket full of love. So today's challenge, we were asked to create a set of nail tips on our favourite couple, and here is mine.
Do you really like it? What is it, babe? Is it wicked? Do you really like it? What is it, babe? Is it wicked? Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
Of course, my favourite couple is me and Sean, because obviously, why the heck not? I think we are bomb. And also, I have to admit, me and Sean, our love story is probably also my favourite. Yeah, it's just everything that I've ever wanted and ever aspired to have, and I am sharing it with you guys because you need to know about this story. It's amazing. Anyway, so let's get straight into this look. Obviously, I'm going ahead with the Tammy Taylor Sculpt products and sculpting the base for everything. To do that, I'm using either a plastic bag or a backing foam paper, because that means the designs are easy to remove. I'm using the Sculpt Shape It Up liquid to help me ensure that I can move around that product easily and create the shapes that I want. And I'm using the gel polishes to add the colour and the design. Now, this video has gone way too fast. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even explain any of that, but luckily you can kind of see what's going on. So the main gel polish colours that I used within this set are the Red Balloon, Street Style, Red Velvet and Fancy Pants. I also used the Flawless Finish top coat to coat all of my nails. So I'm coming in with the soft pink Sculpt It, and I'm using 2 nail tips as the base for my nails, and I'm making a beautiful heart because, you know, our relationship is full of love. I kind of didn't know what to say then, like a love story. I mean, come on, man. This is just our reality and it's freaking perfect. So I wanted to get that across to you guys, and hopefully you enjoy this set. So after refining the heart, I came in with the Red Velvet gel polish and also the black and silver in the Geligant gel paint pods. Next, I'm coming in with a nail tip. I've painted it with Red Balloon, and I'm going to add the Holly Berry pigment and Good as Gold glitter from the Dazzle Rocks collection, and oh my lord, this combination was absolutely stunning. It was literally like crushed velvet. It was bomb. So next I'm going ahead and I'm going to sculpt out the suit from the wedding, and also I do the wedding dress as well. And again, once I finish sculpting, I kind of refine with a hand file, and then I'll come in with the Geligant gel paints and make sure to add some details, depth and shading. And for most of my work I use the Natural Clear Sculpt I also used the pinks as well actually. They are freaking awesome by the way, guys. So here I'm making my little Polaroid pictures, and I used the natural clear, placed it on a wrap and encased my picture in there. I actually encased it with the flawless finish. I didn't coat it in the sculpt just because I didn't want any kind of distortion to happen. Obviously you have to work quite wet with that liquid. It was just easy to go across with that flawless finish so that we weren't going to get any of the ink bleeding. I came in with the white Geligance gel paint, painted that border on there, and then also came in with the black for the text. So next I wanted to use some gold because our relationship is so freaking on fire. So that's why I kind of wanted to use these bomb colors that just showed and portrayed passion and love and just pure amazingness. If I do say so myself, guys, seriously. So next I'm coming in with the face of the locket, and I came in, and yes, it's a giant heart sculpted out of the warm pink sculpt from Tammy Taylor. I came in and added some 3D details over the top with the same product, and then I came in with the gel polishes and gel paint to add all of the details. This heart looked so bomb. I also came in with the black and added some shading and some rusticness to obviously the edges. And then on the inside I used one of the brown gel polishes. I'll pop it on screen which one it is. And then I added some calligraphy writing. This was my first time in gel, and OMG, I shook myself to the core. I was literally so happy with the way that writing turned out, and it was using the white Geligance gel paint. Them paints are honestly absolutely bomb. And then here is the final result, guys. I really hope that you love this kind of creation that I have made. It took so much time and effort. I could have continued to work on this for the rest of my life. Seriously, loved it so much. But obviously you only get so many hours in the day, especially when you're continuously busy being a mum, working and everything. You can only put so much in, and I honestly put everything into this. So I hope you guys love it. Don't forget to vote for me. I'll have the link in the description box. Also, don't forget to peep that caution tape, because ride or die. Thank you so much for your time watching this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and also again, please vote for me. The link will be down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Always remember that you are bomb.com. Bye. And you guys know, couples that slay together stay together. Extra cheese.
Hey everyone, it's Ashley Hoffman, and I'm back again for Nails Next Top Nail Artist Season 6, this time with Challenge 4, which was sponsored by Tammy Taylor. The theme is Love Story. For this week's challenge, we were asked to illustrate our favorite couple's love story across 10 nail tips. It was not allowed to be on a hand, and we were only allowed to use products sent by Tammy Taylor. No acrylic was allowed to be used. My love story inspiration for this challenge came from Sex and the City's Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big. To start this design, I placed 10 nail tips side by side and used natural clear sculpt to fill in all the gaps and make it an even canvas. Using the Shape It Up liquid, it allowed me to mold the sculpt exactly how I wanted. Then I filed and shaped my 10 tips to an even canvas. Using Blush Kisses, I painted 2 coats and then finished with Flawless Finish. Then using the white art paint, I outlined the New York skyline. This love story takes place in New York City, so it was only fitting that I did the New York City skyline. I used Rose Fire Opal, which is a loose dazzle dust, and mixed it with equal parts of Flawless Foundation. This will allow you to paint it with an even coverage over the skyline. I started by tracing out the shapes of my characters with white gel paint. Carrie and Big's relationship happened accidentally. They kept bumping into each other all over the city. Then finally, they decided to meet on purpose and have an actual date. For the skin tones, I mixed Blush Kisses and XO Beige. Then for Carrie's hair and the details, I used Iced Coffee, Street Style, and the Gold Art Paint. For the outlines and the shadows and highlights, I used the black and white art paints. For the flower on her dress, I used Fancy Pants and Red Velvet. For Mr. Big's suit and hair, I used a mixture of iced coffee, black, and white art paints. Through the seasons, there are a few items that I definitely wanted to show in my final piece, which really defines their relationship. To sculpt out these items, I started by sketching out the designs on a piece of paper. Then I put the paper inside a plastic paper protector. Using natural clear sculpt, I sculpted out the items. Then, curing it, I popped them off the paper and then painted each one individually. One of the iconic items that I definitely wanted to depict in my piece was Carrie's blinged out pink flip phone. Throughout the entire seasons of Sex and the City, Carrie refers to her boyfriend as Mr. Big. We don't, as viewers, know his name until the very last few minutes of the last season of the series, where we find out his name is John. I began by painting the cell phone with Fancy Pants. Then I covered it with the Rose Fire Opal. After that, I painted on the details with silver and black gel paints. To add the finishing blinged out touch, I added light rose Swarovski crystals to the entire face of the cell phone. In the series, Carrie Bradshaw is a sex columnist. In one of the first few episodes, she meets up with Mr. Big and asks him, "Have you ever been in love?" His response was, "Abso-frickin-lutely." This is one of the most iconic quotes from the series Sex and the City, so I definitely wanted to make sure it was part of my final piece. My next item is a crossword puzzle. In one of the first couple episodes, when Carrie and Big first got together, she finds him very confusing as a person and really can't get a grasp on what he likes or what he wants in a relationship. She says she's good at crossword puzzles, but not so good at people puzzles. So this item represents all the times that Carrie and Big have broken up and made up again due to the fact that they just can't quite figure each other out. My next item is a Judith Lieber bejeweled duck purse. This item is significant because it sparked the love conversation between Carrie and Big. Next, to make my Eiffel Tower, I first refined the shape using my e-file and a fine diamond bit. The Eiffel Tower is significant because in the last episode of the series, Big travels to Paris to win Carrie back. And here's my final piece. Thank you so much for watching. This was so fun to create. Also, thank you so much to Tammy Taylor and Nails Magazine for sponsoring this competition. Be sure to like, subscribe, and vote.
You ride, I ride. You go, I go. You fight, I fight. And if you die, I die. Dom and Letty are my absolute favorite couple, not only because they are so symbolic of my ex and my love story, but also because they've had deaths, amnesia, and new relationships, but they always come back to each other.
A walking target. I don't want you around when they catch up to me.
I gotta ride or die, right?
Albert's just riding this one. Seeing you dressed like this just reminds me of something.
Hello everyone and welcome back to NTNA Challenge number 4, sponsored by Tammy Taylor. We were challenged to show our favorite couple's love story across 10 nails with any mediums gifted to us from Tammy Taylor. Although Tammy Taylor is well known for her acrylic line, she has now released the Sculpt Acrygel Hybrid System, and this was in our goodies among other things. Thank you so much, Tammy. Now, I wanted to depict Dom and Letty's love story with symbols that made them who they are, and even though this is about love, I wanted to do this in a street-style fashion that was true to them. After buffing the nails, apply 2 coats of Feroche Black, top coat, and do not wipe off dispersion layer. Burnish in Hollyberry Chrome with the Dual Wax Smudge Brush, wipe off excess and clean up the line. Finish with silver gel paint with your detailer brush, and these nails made me think of the sleek sexiness of a chrome car. Now the Los Angeles sunset. I chose this because this is their hometown. Paint a thin white coat of gel, haphazardly blend these colors, and create a beautiful sunset. Sunsets are very easy to create but look so incredibly beautiful. Put a layer of top coat and you ensure your palm trees will be straight because the surface is smooth. Anytime you add silhouettes to your sunset, you really make them pop. Try it out. I think I've established that I can do cartoons, but I wanted to try my hand at portraits. These are the colors I used and made lots of blends to achieve the different shades, highlights, contours to create a really realistic appearance. Top coating is my absolute favorite part. It blends everything together and makes art really come to life. And because the Tammy Taylor flawless finish self-levels, it creates a very even surface. Now here's a little trick. If you don't have matte but need matte, gently, I repeat, gently buff over your artwork, and when you wipe over with cleanse, voila, the shine is gone. Because the quote ride or die is so important to these two, it needed to be included, but in true Dominetti style, so it's on license plates. Use your clear acrygel and sculpt liquid to shape your plate. Now with acrygel, you can keep pressing and pushing the product until you're happy and then cure it. Paint over with the silver gel art paint. Use your detailer and the black to do your lettering. Remember, license plate lettering is more boxy. Now, the 1970 Dodge Charger RT is a major symbol of these two, so it needed to be included. And this allowed me to see what I could really do with acrygel. Start by creating the templates on paper. Use a ruler to ensure straight lines. Follow the shapes and fill in with acrygel. Here is the root style supercharger that's attached to the hood being built. Repeat the same steps as a supercharger to build the rest. It's important to hold the plastic taut to ensure a flat hood. I use a sculpt bottle lid and a nail holder to make the tires. Before fully cured, pull out the fender and bend it and hold it into shape. All these pieces were built with acrygel and made to hold itself up with acrygel. Time to paint this beauty. Using black gel and a number 6 Kolinsky, coat all the sides. As you move from each side, make sure to top coat to ensure that no fingerprints or dust or anything gets in your gel. Add the fine details to make it really look like a car, like adding the hubcaps and the side lights. Here's a trick. If you're not very good at straight lines, take a ruler or a file and gently drag the gel down and you get pretty much a straight line. The cross necklace is also important, but when scaled down it lost its impact. So, for Valentine's Day, I made a chain heart. Attach your nails and all other components with clear acrygel. Okay, we have reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to vote. If you like my take on this challenge and are maybe a Fast and Furious fan, please vote for me to remain in this competition. Fingers crossed that I'll see you all next week. Alright, bye!
Hi everyone! For our 4th challenge of Next Top Nail Artist, Tammy Taylor asked us to create a design inspired by our favorite couple's love story. For my inspirational couple, I chose Della and Jim from the short story The Gift of the Magi. It's actually a Christmas story, but I decided to give it a Valentine's Day twist. So I began by cutting my nail tips into a heart shape. To create my stopwatch, I drew an outline on a piece of paper and placed it in a plastic bag. Using a large bead of Tammy Taylor Sculpt, press the product into a circle for the base of the watch. After curing, add multiple beads to build up the border. Because this is a Valentine's Day challenge, I created the crown of the watch to look like lips. Dip your brush in the Shape It Up solution to prevent the product from sticking to your bristles. And remember, a little goes a long way. By dipping a silicone tool in the Sculpt solution, I was able to make holes in the product to create a chain. Using gold gel art paint, cover the border of the watch as well as the chain. Paint the face of the watch with white gel paint and paint the numbers and details with black. In honor of Valentine's Day, I decided to set the time to 2:14. Use Sculpt again to create the braid and press the product into shape one loop at a time. I left spaces between the beads so that the product wouldn't run together and I could have a more defined shape. To create blonde, I mixed street style with white gel paint and covered the braid with 2 coats of color. Use fawn beige to add shadows and used iced coffee to deepen the shadows and add hair strands. Save this palette because we'll be using it later. Then use black gel paint to define each loop of the braid. To create the hair comb, trace over the design with black gel paint, and then trace over it again using silver. Fill in the gems of the comb with top coat and sugar them with lavender fire opal. To create Ella and Jim, fill in your outline with natural clear sculpt. Using the palette we made earlier, fill in Ella's hair with blonde and fill in Jim's hair with iced coffee. For their skin tones, I mixed white gel paint with XO beige and fawn beige. Then using red velvet and blush kisses, fill in their clothing. Use black gel paint to lightly outline their facial features. Add shading using Farouche Black. I like to use a detail brush to outline where my shadows are going to go, and then use a flat dry brush to blend the color. Once you're done shading, use black gel paint to darken their facial features. Using Farouche Black again, add shadows to the clothing. I wanted the top portion of my nail tips to look like vintage book illustrations, so I coated them with fawn beige and added the pawn shop and salon using iced coffee. And add shadows and lettering using Farouche Black. Paint the bottom portion of the nails with XO beige and distress the edges with Farouche Black. To create an ink thin enough for my calligraphy pen, I mixed black gel paint with the Kleenex solution. It wrote fairly smoothly. And finally, no Valentine's Day set would be complete without a bouquet, so I created various flowers using Sculpt and painted them with a variety of the Tammy Taylor colors. I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you enjoyed this design. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, I'm back again with our fourth challenge sponsored by Tammy Taylor. For this challenge, we were asked to illustrate our favorite couple's love story across 10 nail tips using Tammy Taylor's gel polishes and Sculpt. I first sculpted out a heart using warm pink, and now I'm going over with blush kisses and sea of roses and creating an ombre effect. For this technique, I take the brush and I swipe it across the heart with both colors overlapping in the middle to create the ombre effect. Make sure you wipe your brush off in between dipping it back into the bottle. For my couple, I chose to do Morticia and Gomez Addams from the Addams Family. They are the definition of being in love. I know when you think of Morticia and Gomez Addams, you think of dark and spooky and gothic. Well, these nails are that, but with a Valentine's Day twist. I started painting the shapes of their faces using a mixture of the white gel paint, Street Style, and XO beige. If I mess up with my lines at all, I go in with another brush dipped in the cleanser to clean them up. Now going in with the black gel paint, I start painting in the details of the hair and the face. And I'll zoom in here in a second so you can see up close how I paint the detail of Morticia's face. To keep my lines super thin, I dip it into the gel paint often and roll my brush on my palette. That way my brush stays nice and thin at the tip. It's also a good idea to flash cure in between a couple small lines so your lines stay nice and crisp and don't spread at all. I finish painting in the detail of her hair and I move on to the outline of their clothes. Why I chose this couple is because when you think of an on-screen couple, you think of always fighting and bickering and just not always seeing eye to eye, but Morticia and Gomez Addams had the kind of relationship where you just always loved each other and always got along, and they raised their kids together and they co-parented. You kept their love life, spicy. Even if they were a little weird and eccentric, that's what made their love work. I like to place the color down first, that way I have a general idea before I start putting it in detail. I finished adding in my shading and fine line detail and then added a spider web to the background to keep it a little bit more spooky. Finish with a matte top coat, and here is my Morticia and Gomez and Pugsley and Wednesday Addams. Now going in with the sculpt, I start sculpting out my bat wings. Make sure you don't use too much of the shaping liquid or it will sometimes make the product a little runny. I also sculpt out a heart. Make sure you're patting it and not really pulling it to keep its shape. I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, so I painted my rose with the blush kisses and then dipped it into the Rose Fire Opal glitter. I also painted on some detail to my bat wings to give them a little bit more shape. It is said that they first met at a funeral, so I wanted to paint in some gravestones, so I added that to the background with a red ombre effect behind the gravestones to keep it a little bit more spooky. And here's my final piece. Voting starts February 11th, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!
Hi guys, it's Nixie. Welcome back to Challenge 4 of Nails Next Top Nail Artist Season 6. This week is sponsored by Tammy Taylor and the theme is Love Story. So we've been asked to illustrate our favourite love story across 10 nail tips of any length using the gorgeous products provided to us by Tammy Taylor. And for the first time in this competition, I knew instantly where I wanted to start as the basis to my design. So I am really not one to cry at films, but there is an episode of the popular Netflix series Black Mirror entitled San Junipero, and it is honestly the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. And judging by its cult following, I'm not the only one who feels the same. So I'm going to try my best to tell the story, but without giving too much away to those of you who haven't seen it, because I really cannot recommend it enough. So the story starts off with a bit of an 80s vibe, where every Saturday the two main characters, Kelly and Yorkie, meet at a bar in this mysterious town of San Junipero, and each week seems to be set in a different era, and you don't know if they're time travelling or it's themed nights. It's actually neither of those things, but you need to watch it to find out. So eventually they fall in love, and there's a scene where they both wear really over the tops of 80s bridal dresses, and it reminds me of this toy I used to have when I was a child. And I think they're called fashion plates, and then you used to get sort of different tops and bottoms, and then you'd mix and match them, and then you put paper over and rub over with a crayon and you get the design. Another thing I really loved as a child was paper dolls, so it kind of gave me the idea of layering the tips to tell my story. So I started by selecting my tips and gluing them together in 3 sets of 3 with 1 tip left over. And being 80s themed, there was a lot of neon lights throughout the film, so I decided to use an LED light. I wanted to paint Kelly and Yorkie as though they were paper dolls, and faces are always the hardest thing to get right, so I decided to trace them onto a layer of Tammy Taylor Flawless Finish gel polish. I attached the tracing to the tips using nail glue and then blended the seams using my e-file. I then began to trace the first outfit onto the clear nail tips using Tammy Taylor black art paint. I then cut out the faces and created the night sky using Feroce black and white gel paint. Then I continued to build up the outfits using a combination of blush kisses, exo beige, fawn beige, silver and gold gel art paints and glitter in lavender opal. With tips 7 to 9, I glued them together and then cut them in half using my e-file so that I could make a further 2 outfits. I definitely needed to include their 80s wedding dresses, and white gel art paint was perfect for this. I used my 10th and final tip to create a veil for Yorkie. I wanted to create different light up neon signs to correspond with the different outfits, and I decided that Tammy Taylor sculpt in warm pink would create the perfect mood lighting for my bridal scene. So I started by spreading the gel out and then squashing it under a sheet of perspex to create a flat plate that I could then trim and file into shape. An alarm clock was a regular feature throughout the film, so I wanted to include this and decided to use the numbers 2002 as a nod to the year 2002, which was a significant year in the story. So this was my finished piece or pieces, and I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.
Carly Snore here with Nail's Next Top Nail Artist Challenge 4. This week's challenge was sponsored by Tammy Taylor and it's titled Love Story. We had to pick our favorite couple's love story and I chose to go with my grandparents. My grandparents just had their 65th wedding anniversary. Me and my grandparents are very, very close. They babysat me every day of my childhood and they always lived right next door. So it is so special that I got to make these nails and share this story with you guys. So getting started, I decided to use Tammy Taylor's sculpting acrylic gel to, on a piece of wax paper, sculpt out 2 little half hearts will be my locket front piece. I sculpted them one at a time so that the bottom piece can overlap each other. Using the Tammy Taylor's silicone tool, I poked a little hole in that gel while it was still wet. And using Tammy Taylor's Gelegance line, I used a bunch of different reds, light pinks to create different value and creating these little tiny swooshes I made, which were to represent rose petals. I had to use all those different colors to create different depth and different value.
I told her the first time that I danced with her that I was going to marry her. She was nice looking. She was a farm girl, and
but we had a lot of fun when we met because we went out dancing every Saturday night.
Mix together iced coffee, street style, and white gel art paint to create skin color. Using different proportions of white versus the iced coffee, you will get different shades of the same color to create value in the face. And using iced coffee, fill in the previously outlined areas of the hair and go back in with the black gel art paint to create little tiny individual hair follicles. And using the white art paint, repeat the same steps for the dress. And if you use a little amount of the white art paint and really drag and work with that one small portion of paint, you can get the white to look almost sheer. And using iced coffee, just a very, very light amount on your brush, you can create a very thin looking line for the outlines of the facial features. And guess what we are going to be using again? My famous hairbrush bristle technique for applying the 2 swivel heart pieces to my wedding portrait. Mix a small amount of blue glitter in with the lavender dazzle fire opal glitter from Tammy Taylor to create this sapphire colored glitter. The sapphire stone represents the 65th wedding anniversary. So what's the secret to 65 years of marriage?
I always said yes, dear.
He always said yes, dear, yes, dear. I had my own trailer that I lived in, and he'd come over every night. We were necking.
Necking?
They call it necking.
What? I wanted to make a Snar plaque representing how my grandparents came together to create the Snar family, and I wanted it to be on a piece of wood as my grandpa always crafted and sculpted things such as this. On a nail that's already painted white, go back over with white gel art paint to create a bubbly, puffed up, doily looking look. I put all my embellishments on using the sculpting acrylic gel, and this same doily method on some clear nails to create a unique, different see-through look. Then on a few different nails, I put my grandpa's name Henry and my grandmother's name Beverly in a cursive font. I wanted to make some little lovebird chickadees on the nails because my grandparents love bird watching and my grandma especially loves little chickadees. I'm so grateful that I was able to create this look and celebrate and honor my grandparents. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Couldn't get rid of him. Yeah, we dated for a year and 30 days and then we got married.
Well, it's a long, long story. 65 years ago. We were together every day. Every day.
This week's challenge is Love Story, sponsored by Tammy Taylor. To celebrate Tammy's love for nails and Valentine's Day, we are challenged to illustrate our favorite couple's love story across 10 nail tips. As a big dog lover, I have decided to do Disney movie Lady and the Tramp. I have mixed base coat with black gel to get gray for contour. I am using cleanser to wipe out lines that I don't like. I cover tips with base coat to fill the gap between them so I can paint easier. I start with gray color, then add some white and pink. I added black for eyebrows, nose and eyes. I have shaded Tramp to get more realistic image. For Lady, I have done the same. First contour, base coat, and then colors from lighter to darker. Using smooth mousse, I blend color to get shadow. Make sure not to wear black or any dark clothes when you draw, because black fibers will fall and stick to your work. I have framed them with pink heart and painted outlines black. I have mixed the glitter with the top coat to get glitter gel for the background. For painting tablecloth, I have used blush kisses and fancy pens for lines. For 3D details, I have used Tammy Taylor's Sculpt Acrylic Gel. I have mixed clear, white and silver to get color acrylic gel. By using this technique, you can get any color. It would be the best to use non-sticky paint gel, or if you don't have a non-sticky gel, you can mix any gel polish with no wipe top coat. And you mix these to get the acrylic gel. Here you can see how my plate looks like. I have made spaghetti and meatballs in the same way as the plate. The first step is to cure it just for 2 seconds. After that, you can lift up and put it wherever you want and cure it as usual. For other tips, I have used acrylic gel to get a flat surface and covered it with white gel. On the top of them, I have painted my favorite movie scene. Here you can see how I make roses using this simple technique. I have colored circle with pink gel polish, cure and put top coat on top. After curing, I have cut the circle in spiral. Holding inner end with tweezers, I start twisting the spiral, making film tape. I have sketched a pattern and colored it with black paint gel. Using clear acrylic gel, I have made one piece for my tape. I have drawn a line with white paint gel, cure, and cut into the small squares. Here you can see my final design, my favorite love story. I hope you like it. Bye!